That's better. So one of the key things when I'm training staff or when I'm training any businesses and how to approach marketing and how to approach digital thinking, it's all about leaving the ego at the door. And what I mean by that is experience is very valuable, opinions usually aren't. So what's always good to keep in mind is that after 10 years of doing this, usually when you think you know how something's going to go, you think you know what the result's going to be, you're usually wrong. The reason for that being is that you're typically not the audience. If you're doing marketing for anyone, you're usually trying to attract a certain type of customer, a certain type of client, a certain type of prospect. So you have to be very good at putting yourself into that headspace and becoming that persona. That persona is a small business owner or teacher, or mother or father or whatever that looks like. You need to be able to quickly immerse yourself in their space online. So you need to go and look at what the blog sites look like, what's the news articles, what's the world that they live in like, what's the sort of tone on things, how are things laid out, and start to very quickly be able to build a map. I've got very good at that over 10 years, but it takes a couple of days each time when you do it initially. Now you can kind of crack it out in a day or half a day if you really set your mind to it. But making sure that you map that out, you use the data, you educate yourself so that you know, who am I actually trying to target, and will they give a shit about what it is that I'm trying to give them or speak to them about. I always speak about assumptions, and usually we make an assumption and then based on that assumption we say this is a really good idea. It would be a good idea if that assumption was true. What you want to do, rather than spending lots of time and money and energy testing your idea, is you take the shortcut and you test the assumption first. The idea is probably good, the assumption could be wrong, which means the idea is not the right solution because you don't really know what the problem is. So if I take what's a good example? A good example might be that when someone is buying an expensive Hoover, they only really want to buy it once they've been in the shop and they've been able to see it and check the build quality. How do we get more people to buy more Hoovers? Maybe we give them the ability to rent the Hoover for a month and let them test it and get a shot of it for a while, and that'll be a good sales tool, and then they'll buy it. That would be a good idea if the assumption that they need to see the build quality first is true. So you need to do some test groups, maybe need to be in store, you maybe need to contact people that you know, customers that you know that have bought these, and say, when you were considering this, was that something that came into your mind or not? You can't guess and get that right, but once you know what it is that you're trying to deal with, you can design a solution for it, and it's easy enough. So that would be top tip, is find the assumption that you're leaning on for your idea and figure out how to test that, because it's usually quicker and it's usually cheaper.